Good day everyone, you're welcome to the channel. This is Yuglo Fashion and thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video, I'll be showing you the making of this kimono peplum top. I'm so much in love with it. So please stay tuned and enjoy this tutorial. It's well detailed and also beginner friendly. Thank you very much and stay blessed. For this tutorial, I have my Ankara fabric of more than 1.5 yards, but not up to 2 yards. I have my lining and my interface as well. So to start with, I'll be cutting the peplum side first. It's 20-degree peplum. So to get that, it started under the bust. So I will first write out my under bust circumference, which is 30 inches. I added 2 inches for allowance because they both lapped on each other at the front. So the total is 32 inches. The standard I use for cutting peplum is 6.28. So if it were to be 360 degree, I would just say 32 divided by 6.28, which will give me 5.09. But because it's 720 degree, you know it's double of 360 degree, which means that we have 2 circles at the end of the day. I'll just say 32 inches divided by 6.28 times 2. So I wrote those 2 in the bracket. So multiplying them together, you know it's double of the 360 degree like I said earlier. So multiplying them together, I'll have 12.56. Then I'll just divide the 32 inches by 12.56. So at the end of the day, the answer is 2.54. That's the width of the flea. Now to the length of the flea, I wrote out the length of my blouse, which is 24 inches minus my under bust, that is 13 inches. That gives me 11 inches. So I just added the 11 inches to the 2.54 inches. That's 13.54. You will understand better the reason why I added everything together this way. So now I approximated everything to be 13.5 inches. And I went ahead to mark 14 inches on my Ankara fabric. The Ankara fabric is on fold now. So I marked 14 inches. I added ½ inch so that I will have something to cut out. Then after that, I folded the fabric into 4 this way. So I have 2 joint parts at the edge here. And I also went ahead to measure what I have there. So that side too measures 14 inches. So it's like square shape now, but in 4 folds. I have 4 foldings already. Then I just cross-check whatever I measured there. The next thing is to measure the 2.5 inches that I said is for width. So I went around with the 2.5 inch. This is the reason why I calculated all this is because I don't want to be readjusting the fabric on the table. Once I calculate it this way, to give me the actual measurement of the peplum. Then after doing that, after marking the width, I went ahead to chalk the length. So I said the length is 11 inches and I'll be going around with 11 inches. If you notice, I did not add any allowance to the 11 inches, but I later made a mistake by adding ½ inch. I don't really need the ½ inch because there's still going to be band there and I've not added the measurement. The band is 1.5. I did not had any allowance for the band. So I decided to use the allowance, the 1.5 inch for the allowance I should add to the peplum. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So after chalking everything out, the 14 inches, I connected the lines, but the part that I cut 14.5, I had to reshape it, though I did not show that part because after cutting it, I noticed that the down one is shorter. So I reshaped everything and I cut out the peplum. Now, after cutting the peplum, I told you I'll have 2 circles. So this is one peplum and I later cut the other one from the remaining fabric. So I'll be joining this together to make the 720-degree peplum. And after cutting that, I also went ahead to cut the lining and I added my interface. Having done with that, the next thing is to pin the fabrics together, then the linings together as well at the middle. Because I cut one part open. You know, the 4 parts are on fold initially and I opened one part. So having done with that, I went ahead to mark 7 inches at the open edge here. After joining one side together, I left the other side open and I marked 7 inches and 2.5 inches in. This is just to create a curve shape. You may not really need to measure anything, but I just decided to do it this way so that you will understand it better. Now after chalking it out, I proceed to cut the curved parts out. And after cutting it, I did the same to the lining because they must be of the same shape. I went ahead to curve the lining as well. So the next thing to do now is just to place the lining and the fabric the right side together and pin them round. Then after pinning everything round, I proceed to the machine to stitch them together. This is the outcome after stitching both. Then I went ahead to place this aside and move to the kimono part, which is the upper part of the bodies. And for that, I have my body's measurement already, the pattern. Then at the nipple points here, I marked 3.5 inches because that's my nipple span. So to create the dart, I marked half on both sides and connected it this way. So having done with that, at the edge here, the other half at this side, I marked it, and at the upper side here, I marked 1 inch at the shoulder. So I marked 1 inch. You can do 1.5, you can do 1 inch, but I decided to use 1 inch. Depends on how wide you want that side to be. Then I went ahead to connect the lines. After connecting, I proceed to cut it out. Now after cutting, this is it wide open. So this will serve as the back pattern, but I will still use it for the front pattern as well. So, and I placed it on my fabric. I added 1/2 inch at the side here and also did the same to the lining. And also I used the same pattern to cut the front bodies like I said earlier, and I added 1/2 inch, but at this point I opened the front, the middle, I opened it up. So you can see I've added my facing, my interface rather, and I've added interface to the lining as well. The next thing now is to reshape the neckline of the front because I used the back pattern to cut both the front and the back. Now to reshape, I placed both the lining and the fabric together on each other. Then I marked 2.5 inches for the length. You know, the width I used is 3 inches, while the length is 2.5. Sorry, I did not mention the width earlier. So it's 3 by 2.5 inches. It's not really wide. The neck is not really wide. Then I cut that out. Having done with that, I placed both the front and the back bodies on each other. Then I pinned the shoulders together and proceed to the machine to stitch. After stitching, I ironed it open. You can see the shoulder area. I ironed it open, and I did likewise to the lining as well. I've stitched the shoulder side of it. Then the next thing is to stitch both the lining and the fabric together all round. This time we are going all round. Aside from the down part, every other edges you'll pin everything together. Then after pinning, I proceed to the machine to stitch, and I ironed everything out. You can see the way I ironed it. I gave it a good press. So this is the outcome after ironing and stitching. Now we are done. So the next step is to make our band. So for this band, I used 2.5 inches, and the length I used is, I just multiply my underbust by 2.5. You can do 3, depends on how long you want the band or the belt to be. So the next thing is I notched the middle of the peplum and also the middle of the band, and I pinned it round. So I started from the middle so as to know where the belt will start from. You know, the belt is still joined with the band now. Then I first pinned the fabric. Now I'll be pinning the lining. So I went ahead to pin the lining from the middle as well, and after pinning I stitched the two together. So this is the outcome after stitching, and I folded 1/4 inch in. I ironed it on fold, both the lining and the fabric. I ironed the two together. Then the next thing to do now is to fix our upper bodies, which is the kimono. And to fix the kimono, this is our kimono, I marked the middle of the band. So I used chalk this time around, and I placed the edges together, though I didn't place it well, so one side is longer than the other, but ensure you placed it well. So I still see the chalked part. Thank God I've marked the chalk parts using the joint parts of the peplum. And I went ahead to also chalk the middle of the kimono, and now I went ahead to measure 1/2 inch at the edge here. I added 1 inch for seam. I've used half for the shoulder. Now the remaining half I'll be using it for the joining of the kimono to the peplum. So I marked the 1/2 inch out and also mark the middle like I said earlier. So the next thing is to fix the two together, but first of all I'll fix it from the back, because there I have my middle chalked out. But while placing it, I noticed that the chalk was marked on the lining and not on the fabric. So to fix it in, I had to re-chalk the 1/2 inch again at the back here, so I will know where to stop while placing it inside. So now I placed it in between, ensure the marked points align well, I mean the middle. Then I pinned everything around. I pinned the two together, and also having done with that, I went ahead to pin the front as well. So this will be easy because we already know where it's starting from. So I will pin it to the starting point, and after that proceed to the machine to stitch. So this is the outcome. You can see them lapping on each other. So thank you very much for watching this video to the end. Please like and share my video and subscribe as well. See you in my next video. Bye.